Good morning and welcome to the January 6, 2026 meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission. The first thing I need to do is read a little note about our process. This meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, including through an AI process, please notify the chairman now. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2025, signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027. This meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that people who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 946-065-546 hashtag, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. Well, this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072. Despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. Just parenthetically, I am doing this part of the show here because Mr. Messina has got some issues, but he is about to participate virtually, beginning with the roll call list. Mr. Messina, are you available and online?
He's muted.
Oh, good, we can't hear him.
He can hear you though, Bill.
You could ask him to unmute.
Bill, Frank, you're muted.
Hey, sir. Call Frank Messina.
I think he can hear.
Maybe he'll be more tolerant of other people calling in.
There you go.
All right.
Yes, Robert.
Hey,
You're present?
Yeah, I know that. Oh, no, you just have to wait for me to unmute it. Thank you.
All right. We see you. The chair is here. Ms. Barr
All right,
is,
can you hear me now, Mike?
yes, I can.
Thank you.
I'm counting you as present.
I am present.
The clerk, Nancy Barr, is out of town. Ms. Hamilton,
Here.
Mr. Stevens,
here.
Ms. Tennyson,
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Ms. Porter is absent. Okay, first order of business is the minutes from December 2nd or December 16th?
16th.
December 16th. You all had a chance to review them. Any comments or additions, corrections? Any motions?
I move that we accept the minutes.
Second.
Okay, we will go down the roll again about that. Mr. Messina, on the minutes.
Yes,
Chair votes yes. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes.
Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
Ms. Tennyson.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have one hearing scheduled today, which is in two parts because it's in the National Register Historic District. It was continued from December 2nd at the applicant's request,
Bless you.
and also from the 16th, I think. But Mr. Riley?
Mr. Chairman,
Sir, yes.
we had notification from Mr. Riley's office that they wanted a continuance to a future meeting. Is that the case?
That's a question for Mr. Riley, I guess.
Yes, good morning, Bill Riley on behalf of Ann Picardo. We've been having conversations with our neighbors, represented by Mr. Ford, and so we're considering other alternatives to elevating the house to the full height. We're still having, we have a meeting today with the Cape Cod Commission staff, so, because we don't yet have an agreement, we hope to. So we're still exploring that option as well. But right now, yeah, we think a continuance would be appropriate to see if the clients can come to an agreement that is satisfactory to all.
What kind of continuance are you looking for? I, for one, am getting tired of the continuances, so.
I don't blame you, Bob. You know, and it's probably time for you to retire.
Well, I'm going to go out with, I'm going to go out with censoring you for your continuances.
Well, I mean, the reason why continuances make sense is that if we're able to resolve what we consider thorny problems with a continuance, that would make a lot more sense than requiring the staff to accept a new filing, do the new publication. You know, we have the same conversation with the Zoning Board of Appeals, because believe it or not, they're tired of the continuances. But the reality is that in terms of staff time and the possibility of completing something sooner rather than later, continuances really make a lot of sense.
Well, I agree with you in theory, but waiting until 2 o'clock the afternoon before the hearing is not exactly convenient for staff or commissioners.
Well, I'm sorry about that. Mr. Ford and I had a meeting yesterday morning, and then I had to consult with my client thereafter. So, you know, that's just the way we work these days.
Well, I've been there, done that, unfortunately. Ms. Hamilton?
Bill, that's our only thing on our agenda today, and that's brought all of us out, so it's a bit of a mess for us, too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, RP.
Mr. Chairman?
Frank? Wait, well, let Bob, Mr. Wilson has a comment to make first, or a question.
Just to put the context, what would be your estimate of the probability of needing another continuance after this?
I'd say probably pretty strong. I don't know. It depends. I mean, I think we have a framework for an agreement, and we're trying to put together the details of that. So if we don't reach an agreement, then we would move forward at the next meeting. If we complete the framework and have an agreement, then we'll probably need a continuance to put it in final form before we come back.
Okay, thank you. Frank, sorry.
Anything else for us now, Mr. Riley? I want to hear from Mr. Ford also, so.
No, that's right. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to express Stephanie Hamilton's frustration and myself. You know, this is it's getting a little bit silly here. Yes, Mr. Riley, it's important that we reach an accommodation here. You know, from the get-go, we made it very clear, you know, relative to the concerns of the commission. And we, as Stephanie indicated, we scheduled this meeting, which really wasn't going to happen. There was no meeting, no reason for a meeting, but we scheduled it, you know, at your behest. And your concern for staff is heartwarming. But, you know,
didn't
it's
schedule this at
causing.
my behest.
It's
You
causing.
insisted on having a meeting.
That's
Now,
We didn't want to have a meeting. We will go to the Cape Cod Commission.
Mr. Riley?
So don't be
Mr.
telling
Riley,
me
if
what I
you
said
could-
at the
if
last
you
meeting,
could-
because that's not
If
what
you could
happened.
get out of the habit of interrupting people, it would be really sweet. Thank you.
Well,
We scheduled this
I'd like
meeting
it if you were
because
accurate in your statements about me.
We
Mr. Riley,
scheduled
would you
this-
wait until you finish speaking before you interrupt, please?
Thank you. We scheduled this meeting at your request,
no.
okay? And expecting that we were,
Yes, it is.
at the last meeting, you said, look, why don't you guys just vote and send us to the Cape Cod Commission? I cautioned you that that probably was maybe not the best way to proceed, and you agreed and allowed us to continue to this meeting, and that we would in fact have, you know, some kind of conclusion of it. Now, I appreciate the fact that you're finally, you know, talking with Mr. Ford and the other members of the community to try and resolve this, but it is a bit of frustrating, and I don't want to let it go unsaid that if we are going to continue this meeting, if we are to agree, I mean, we could agree not to continue it and just take a vote. But I think that's not the proper way to proceed. The proper way to proceed is a continuance. but we certainly would like some assurances, which was expressed by Mr. Stevens and I think other members of the commission. If we continue this, we're going to continue it for a couple of months until you get your act together and come back with something definitive. We also met, we being myself and Mr. Lira, met with the Cape Cod Commission yesterday just to reiterate the concerns and the issues that you had been expressing relative to threatening lawsuit and also to the FEMA issues. And I think it's pretty clear that the only issue we're dealing with here is historic preservation and whether or not what you're proposing provides a detriment to the National Register District. Having said that, Mr. Lear, I would agree that we probably should continue the meeting, but we should continue it with sufficient time and not reschedule it back on our agenda until we have to receive something definitive that we could review and discuss. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Messina. Mr. Ford, do you have anything to say as representing the abutters, I guess?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission and Mr. Messina. We're in favor of Mr. Riley's request. I appreciate the fact that all of you came out today for this, and again, my apologies on behalf of my clients as well. However, this is a complicated issue, and it's not one where you can give direction as you did and expect that within a meeting or two there'll be a revised plan, because there's some deep legal questions here, both at the commission level and at the Cape Cod Commission level. And so I'd ask for your patience. I will tell you that I had a positive meeting with Mr. Riley yesterday, as he indicated. It is our hope that with our assistance and our joint clients, that something can be agreed upon that we could present to you. You're the ones who would decide whether that is something that meets the requirements of the demolition delay bylaw and whether it still needed to be referred to the Cape Cod Commission. So at least I and my clients fully understand that whatever we're able to come to, if we can, agreement and revised plan and is presented to you, it's still your decision, and we understand that. We'd ask for your patience. We probably need a little time. I agree with Mr. Riley that it would probably be 2 meetings because we'd report back and tell you what we believe the solution is, and we'd look for direction from you. And if you said that isn't going to work, well then we'd probably, Mr. Riley would ask for a vote. If you said that that sounds like it may work, then there probably would be some detailed plans that need to be done that may involve experts such as structural engineers and so forth. So I'd ask that you have patience if you can. I appreciate the fact it's taken a long time, but this is one of the more complicated cases that I've been involved in your jurisdiction over the last number of years. So my apologies about today to Mr. Messina and to the commission, but I would hope you'd grant a continuance.
Okay, we will.
I think it has to be a date certain. It can't be
Yes, and
whenever we receive a plan or something.
Can you and Mr. Riley confer on what type of like how many weeks, months, days, or whatever? And we obviously have only so many list dates, so. Give me a time range, and I'll ask Christina to look at the calendar.
Well, as I indicated, we're going through what I would say are very serious, very good faith negotiations. And I believe that we'll either have an agreement or we won't have an agreement in the next 2 weeks. If we have an agreement, we'll come back and we'll ask for a further continuance to do the plans and complete the things. And we might ask for a month at that time to do that. If we don't have an agreement, we're going to want to come back in and get a vote. So I think, and what we can do for, understanding your schedules as well, is we'll do much better at notifying you earlier in the process whether we need a continuance or not. So I'd ask for a 2-week continuance or to your next meeting, and we will, I apologize for the inconvenience, but it was Christmas and New Year's. You know, we did have other things to do. Michael's got a very large family. He celebrates Christmas with everybody. So, but we had a great conversation on Friday. I spoke with my clients over the weekend. They authorized me to do the negotiation. We had a great meeting yesterday. And my clients are very much willing to proceed down this path. You know, we have concerns as well, so it's not a one-way street, but, you know, I would say we're working very firmly towards, and we both have good reason to resolve the matter, and that's what we're working on.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I would also appreciate if we go for the, I assume, January 20th meeting, that if you're not planning to be prepared to go forward at that point, you let us know by noon on Friday before.
I think that's fair. That's very fair. We can do that.
Okay. There's a hand raised online. Somebody out there?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me? It's Chris Cannon.
Oh, yes, Chris, go ahead.
So, sorry I couldn't be there, but I had a knee replacement yesterday, so felt it better not to try. But the one thing I would just like to add, and I agree with both the attorneys, and these discussions have been ongoing, but I want to put this in terms of it being kind of like a book. When you open the first page, you haven't a clue where it's going to go. And as you get to about 3/4 of the way through, you got a pretty good sense, but you still don't know the outcome. And that's pretty much what's happened here is we've sort of learned things over time. For instance, you know, variances and exemptions. Those weren't things that that were clear at the time we began this process. They weren't clear 2 weeks later. And they're things that have unfolded gradually. And so I'd ask your patience because they're still unfolding. We were discussing many of the things that we're currently discussing. We were discussing those within a day. We were actually discussing them right after the first meeting. So, but it takes time to solve some of these problems. One of the largest problems is our codes and how we can solve some of those issues. And those are answers that are not easy to come by. You don't just go to your building commissioner and get the answer. Sometimes you do if you're lucky, but sometimes we have to go outside of our building commissioner to get the answers, and he has to do a lot of research to get there. And so I'd ask for your patience on this because those answers aren't there yet, and they're going to take a little bit of time. So that's really all I wanted to add.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cannon. I must say I agree with what's been said both most recently by Mr. Cannon, but certainly Mr. Ford before, that there's sort of 4 jurisdictions involved here, and I don't think that that's been played out, certainly not to my knowledge, anyplace else. So we've got a tough, if we don't come to a resolution amicably, I don't know, who knows what's going to happen if it goes to court. Anyway, Christina, the next date is January 20th?
That is correct.
Okay. So both counsel are moving to continue this case until January 20th.
Thank you very much.
And we need to take a vote on it, though, so.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Messina.
you indicated that that you wanted the applicant to notify us the Friday before, which is the 16th,
Right.
whether or not they were going to be able to present or not. That doesn't give us enough time to get the information to the members of the commission prior to the 20th. So I would suggest,
The 19th is a holiday thing. I forgot about that part, too, so.
well, not only that, we generally like the information at least the Wednesday before the meeting on the 20th. So the decision would have to be on the 14th. On the 14th, if the applicant had the information and present a revised application to this, that would be fine. If not, then the meeting would subsequently have to be continued. The other question is, Christina, do we have any applications for the 20th?
We have one other application.
Okay, so we do have a scheduled hearing. so that would be fine. But the addition is that what the condition of the continuance would have to be on the 14th. The applicant would either notify us that they are not going to be able to present, or they are and want a decision one way or the other, or they have a revised application, which is submit to Christina on the 14th with the required copies to distribute to the members for consideration at the meeting on the 20th. Is that clear, Chris and Mr. Riley?
We're not going to have anything by way of a plan to present.
Fine.
Whether it's on the 20th or whatever your next meeting after that is.
So then
Michael
why
and
don't we
I
just,
agree
why don't we
that
continue it?
perhaps,
Why don't we continue?
why don't you
Sorry,
let
I
me
apologize.
finish, Frank?
I apologize.
So
It's
the-
hard to hear you.
Mike and I think that 1 week is not enough because of some of the technical issues that are involved. So we'd ask to go out to your second meeting.
February.
February.
February 3rd.
And then we could let you know the Wednesday before that meeting. But the 14th just doesn't give us enough time to be able to tell you whether we've reached agreement or not, so.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. I think that's a better way to proceed, Bob.
Okay, well, modify the motion that we continue this case until February 3rd with the stipulation that we get notice by whatever the Wednesday before that is, as to whether,
January
what's going to
28th.
happen if it's productive. So,
January 28th, I think, is the date, so that gives us a little more time.
okay, that's fine. All right, now,
We don't have a meeting.
Is that a motion?
wait a minute. Yes, okay. Wait a minute, do we have 3 meetings in?
No, I think that Wednesday before is just when we'll need.
Okay, all right,
There's
yeah,
not a
all right.
meeting, that is correct.
The motion is to continue the case until February 3rd with the stipulation that we get information by the 28th or whatever the Wednesday before is as to whether the hearing will actually go on. So with that, we get back to the roll call. Mr. Messina?
Second. Mhm.
Oop, thank you.
Yes,
Chair votes yes. Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Ms. Tennyson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for your time and your patience.
Thank you.
That wasn't so bad.
What a mess. This is such a mess.
All right, the next items on our agenda, first of all, is new business. I don't have anything to report on that. Frank, do you have new business information?
yeah, Christina, I'm not sure the agenda, I'm not sure I'm looking at the correct agenda item, but you and I discussed in putting on the agenda the discussion of preservation restrictions. Did that make it in the final version?
Yes.
Yes, it did,
Oh,
but I didn't have
Okay.
any information to give.
yes. Okay, let me just briefly, and I'm glad Mr. Nicastro, Dean Nicastro, select person, I guess that's what we call you, right, Dean? A select person, Mr. Nicastro is on the teams, so we can discuss this. I wanted to introduce the subject of preservation restrictions, introduce it to the public and also to the members of the commission, because we have some new members of the commission who may not be aware of this process. Very simply, in addition to many things we could do to help preserve historic properties, which is putting them in a national register or putting it on in a national register district or an historic district, there is an option that's available to individuals, and that is to take their property, if it truly is an historic property, and generate a preservation restriction, not unlike what happens with land and open space where there's a conservation restrictions, which effectively protects the land and the property in perpetuity. This is not a deed restriction, which expires in 30 days. This is a preservation restriction, which effectively lasts forever in perpetuity. Since I've been on the commission too many years, we have one property, which is in the old village, the YWCA property, in which there was a situation where the Boston YWCA was attempting to take over the property. And the Philadelphia YMCA effectively created a preservation restriction on that property and the land to ensure that there would not be all of a sudden condos being built there in the old village. And the town of Chatham, with the Historical Commission, actually hold that preservation restriction. Subsequent to some activity in the town where we've lost some historic properties, people are concerned about it, and individuals with, fortunately, some means also are inquiring to me, the Historical Commission Chair, and also to Ellen Briggs, the founder of Protect Our Past, about could we have a preservation restriction on their particular property? And if we did, would the Historical Commission hold the preservation restriction? Unfortunately, in time, a lot of agencies that used to hold the preservation restriction have backed away from doing that. What does that mean, hold the preservation restriction? Effectively, the Historical Commission is the arbiter, if you will, that if somebody tries to do something to this YWMCA property, which is inconsistent with the preservation restriction, the Historical Commission can take, with the town of Chatham, can take that individual to court to stop that destruction of that historic property. Sorry for the long-winded explanation. It's actually far more complicated than I just did. Now, the question before, or the issue that I want to raise before the Historical Commission is, if it's something that we want to particularly encourage people to do, there are costs involved. There are not costs involved for the town of Chatham, ostensibly because the applicant of the preservation restriction would bear all of the legal costs. And there are legal costs. Like any preservation restriction or conservation restriction, there's a lot of legal matters to be discussed. But at least the Historical Commission would be encouraging people, if they wanted to, that we would do that. I prefaced the beginning of this conversation with Mr. Nicastro, who's chairman of the select board at present. I guess what I'd like to ask Mr. Nicastro is your feeling or the board's feeling on this subject. The Historical Commission, I don't believe, has the authority to go ahead and say, oh yeah, we'll hold the preservation restriction without some acknowledgement or approval with the select board. And Dean, I guess what I'd like to ask you with the commission is if you could just, at some particular point, give us some guidance, because I'm being asked by individuals and also for Protect Our Past, can the Historical Commission continue in this role? And again, I didn't want to give a blanket yes, but it's a great thing to do, but it's not my authority to say yes. So I'm looking for some guidance from you and from the select board on whether or not we want to participate and encourage this type of activity for preservation of historic properties. And again, my purpose of putting it on the agenda is that it's not me individually, that the select board, the Historical Commission also concur. Bob, I believe you have been involved with POP on a little bit of discussion on here. If you have anything that you wanted to add to this subject.
Well, you basically said it. I think that what could be the thing that would lead the town to say, well, we're not too sure about this is, and having been president and trustee of the Conservation Foundation, which holds many hundreds of preservation restrictions, there's a substantial monitoring obligation that comes in. And now we have very few properties, but still somebody in the community development would have to go out that has some knowledge and be able to check on the properties. So it's some small obligation at this point that the town could be taking on, but in the future it might be more substantial. And also just the process of running the endowment or whatever the expense account is to make changes. Dean, you have any initial comment?
Thanks, Bob and Frank. This is my general comment about it. As Bob mentioned, there are various types of statutory preservation restrictions in Massachusetts. We have the open space, conservation type restrictions. We have agricultural restrictions. and historical restrictions. My sense is that the way to proceed here would be to, and I'm happy to follow up on this with, is to ask Katie Donovan and working with Christina to check into, what would be involved, and maybe we might want to get some advice from town council on how it works. It would seem to me, I can't speak for the whole select board, it would seem to me a logical body to be the sort of overseer and enforcer of this would be the historical commission. I don't think we're talking about a whole lot of restrictions, at least not initially.
Right. Yeah.
But we need to get the process defined. I think when the restrictions are approved, I know they come before the select board because a document goes on record at the registry. And we've had numerous restrictions, preservation restrictions, conservation restrictions that, as Bob mentioned, have placed the Conservation Foundation in the role of basically the monitor. But those have to be approved by the select board. And it's probably a similar process, I'm guessing, under the statute. But we should check that out. But I think it's worth looking at. I think we just need to find out what are the steps, what are the protocols, and then we can come back to your board and your commission and see how you'd like to proceed.
Dean, thank you very much. That's kind of what I wanted to do. Begin the process openly, with the public and be responsive to the citizens and also the protect our past who have been made the inquiry. They have been very helpful in the past in assisting us in preservation. So I wanted to at least bring this subject up to you formally. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay,
So Christina, can I just say we'll continue that on the over a new business as we move from one agenda to the next, and we'll see where we can report in future meetings, okay?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Next up is ratification for administrative reviews, 134 Beach Road. RP, I know you were out there. Did somebody else visit 134 Beach? Janet? Okay.
I did too.
What say you?
Well, when I visited the property, I felt the house is a quasi Cape Cod style that I would not classify as historic when I saw it. It's 79 years old with what looks like a relatively new addition on the south side, and the plan is to add the enclosed porch to the rear of the addition, and the new porch will not be visible from it'll be an open porch, I gather, and will not be visible from the road, therefore not influence the streetscape. So I recommended approval of the application.
RP?
Yes, I would agree totally with every single thing you said.
So will I hear a motion from the representatives? Go ahead.
Can I move my own
Sure,
So
yes.
I move approval of the application for 130 Forest Beach Road, the approval of this application.
I'll
Right.
second.
And the vote, Mr. Messino,
Yes?
Ms. Tennyson,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mr. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Good. Old business, I have nothing to say on that. Frank, any comments?
Nothing on old business, just one brief thing on chairman's report when you get to it.
All right, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment briefly on a subject I brought up earlier in terms of the Cape Cod Commission. Nothing specific related to any particular application, but again, as I indicated, Sarah Korjeff, as you know, has left the commission, and she's currently temporarily replaced by two young women, Chloe Schaefer and Elizabeth Kelleher, and they have helped us and assisted us with information when we need it on a particular application as it relates to the Cape Cod Commission. We had a brief meeting yesterday, Bob and I, with them to discuss a number of issues, but specifically the issue of the Cape Cod Commission and its jurisdiction and its roles and responsibilities. And the Jordan Vel, I think it's Veloco, who's the legal representative to the commission, actually was on the meeting also and made it very clear that when we submit anything to the Cape Cod Commission from the Historical Commission, the only role and responsibility of the commission is in relation to historic preservation and not any other legal or FEMA or any other things. That when they opine or just make a decision, the decision is based on historic preservation. And that was a clarification, and hopefully that will allow us to continue to use them and not and to be satisfactory in that they're assisting us in that process. So anyway, just wanted to let you know, we're okay. We've got people at the Cape Cod Commission to assist us as needed. And when, unfortunately or unfortunately, we do use them a lot. Thank you.
Yes, I think they can be very, very helpful in keeping things properly focused as opposed to getting tied up with the state building code, et cetera. Okay. Anything else for the cause? Any other comments? Any other motions?
I move to adjourn the meeting and apologize for my non-presence.
I'll second.
Like Miss,
All right, you get to vote first. Adjourn, Frank?
yes.
Chair votes yes. Janet?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.